they brought the resident down from peds to come break the news that she had leukemia in the ER. It's pretty devastating.
The symptoms are so similar to other things, and it's not until you get a blood count, a complete blood count, that you would find out that, oh, the high white count, oh, leukemia. You can't think about anything because your focus is just on her, so you're just driven to do what needs to be done for her. So it's just, when we did have time to ourselves, it was just overwhelming.
In the ICU, we didn't have like a realization of what it really was yet, so we just were in that like emergency mode and just stay focused, get through this. But then as the weeks become months, you kind of like accept it as your new normal.
She was our strength. She was like, because as long as we saw her doing okay, then we were okay. Aside from the fever, she was always smiling. She was, as long as we told her that it was okay, then she would trust us. So there was not many things that we forced her to do because she had enough trust in us, and we never tricked her. We always told her, or try to explain the best to her what was gonna happen, and she would say okay, or she would go with it because she was different. She was special. Just seeing her go through what she was going through was enough to be like, for us to be like, oh, screw what we're feeling right now, because right now, yeah, I'm overwhelmed. I feel, whatever, we're tired, but she's the one that's going through a much harder time than we are, and if she couldn't be okay, then I have to be okay. So we try to stay positive around her all the time.
So we wanted to keep the structure of her sleeping by herself. You're a big girl now. And there was just one night in the ICU, particularly when this is all coming to a head, that it was just so bad. She would wake up like every hour screaming and crying, and finally I'm like, you know what, you're sleeping with me again. And the tantrums never came back after that. So we actually didn't have her in the bed. In ICU they have a pull-out bed, and so we all slept over there together, and it was much better. Yeah. So I think that's another thing about patient care, is that you can't take away the contact, the humanness of a person.
Yeah, I mean, clinic was not, they don't have the best nurses there, I would say, because
they deal with different types of situations, so they don't have the same skill set.
The nurses would get attitude at you, like they you sense that they weren't necessarily happy to be dealing with you, and it was just really, that's another thing that that we weren't looking forward to.
It'd been another hospital, which is hard because we were already used to the hospital that we were at, so knowing nurses and being able to have family come, that was one thing that really made the hospital livable, was that our family was able to come. Like, either my mom was there every night, his mom would go almost every day to play with her, his brother, his sister, so that 2 visitor per room is like stupid. It was really strict, so we had to wear masks when we were in the room with her. And then when she got C. diff, we had to wear we didn't have to wear gowns, but the nurses had to wear gowns. Like, it got a little bit more strict, and washing hands and just having to eat outside the room. It just made our lives as parents harder.
The ER nurses, Like they didn't even look like they worked there. I don't know, it was weird. They all wear different color scrubs or whatever, but they're like the only two wearing black. They had like thick accents. I don't know, we felt like they're like spies or something. I don't know, some movie stuff. It was funny,
But we had the same nurse for pretty much those 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
We had the same day nurse, so it was really helpful to have the same nurse every day that like knew what was happening and like how she was progressing, and like she wasn't wheezing like that yesterday, so this is something important, you know. So that was really helpful to have nurse continuity, and I think that throughout our 9 months in the hospital, nurse continuity was definitely like key to having some type of sanity in the hospital. We have amazing parents that would come and just be there with us and
bring us lunch on day.
And I think last night we were talking to some friends and he was saying like, you know who your true friends are. Like you find out who your true friends are coming out of a situation like this, who's really there for you and who's checking up on you, and I'm just thinking about you, and can I cook you dinner, and can I take care of your dogs or do laundry or anything like that. It was really amazing to see some of our aunts like cooking dinner on a rotating schedule, and I mean,
driving all the way over there just to drop off the food,
just to drop
understanding
it off,
that they couldn't
come
go
in
in
and see her. Another thing that got us through is our faith. Like we would pray with her every night, and
she liked reading the Bible.
Yeah, she would say, God is my healer, he's healing me. The last 2 months we would pray probably 3 times a week? 3 times a week people would come over, and there would be at least like 20 people, 20 family members like at our window just praying together. So that was really important too.
And she loved it. She loved seeing everybody out there, and she would wave at them and stuff.
But Christmas we were in the hospital, but we also tried to make it nice. We tried to decorate the room and had a tree and had like Christmas breakfast in the hospital with my mom, and Santa came and I wasn't scared of him. That's what she said. I think just always having that hope. Even when we were in ICU the last time and they told us she was gonna pass, like I kind of felt so defeated, and Nacho was the one who's like, no, like you just have to always stay positive and hopeful that, it'll be alright. Nacho and I really had to stay connected and make sure that we talk to each other and make sure that we both understand what was happening and that we both were in agreement. So we got to go home late April, and it was beautiful to be home. At that, like a week before we got to come home, Sofia got to go outside for the first time in 3 months. Life was kind of normal to just be living here, and she got to be with her dogs and her toys and her kitchen, and we tried to just do as much fun things as we could. We went to the baseball game, we went to Disneyland with our family, and we went to Knox Berry Farm, we went to the planetarium, observatory, went to the mall to ride on the merry-go-round, Santa Anita Barbara, San Diego. So we just tried to really have fun with her, and we got almost 2 months with her at home before she passed. We really enjoy doing like events or just anything that's gonna help the next person.
It's part of our life now, just trying to raise awareness when possible.
That's the story of our amazing